Hi, this is Jenny from All About Fun and Games. Stay tuned for 3 things that I love about the board game, The Loop. The Loop is a fully cooperative board game with also a solo mode. In the game, you must save the world from the evil Dr. Foe who is laying waste to time and space. He wants to be the master of the universe and has built a terrible time machine, traveling in loops, duplicating himself while creating rifts. As time agents, your goal is to restore balance. You'll collect artifacts, go through time loops, and hopefully complete the missions needed to defeat Dr. Foe before the world is destroyed. Here are 3 things I love about the board game. Number 1, the time machine itself. At the center of the board is the evil Dr. Foe's time machine. In his phase of a player's turn, you move it accordingly to a board section and drop down rift cubes. The number of rifts dropped depends on the number of clones in the era, and the machine decides which of 3 eras the rift cubes will land. They can scatter into 3 or all into 1. Too many in one era and a vortex has been created, which is big trouble. This aspect of the game involves threat management. During your turns, you have to work on completing missions while managing these increasing threats and adding of clones which determine the amount of rift cubes. The randomness of the machine allows you to decide, do you risk rift cubes coming into the era and work on something else, or do you take care of the clones to limit or exclude the risk of a vortex being created? It's very clever and tense part of the game, which brings me to number 2, these puzzling options. The loop makes you think, should you do this or this or this, and which should you do first, next, or last? Green energy cubes allow you to move, but they also allow you to do a loop. So should you move or should you loop? Which card abilities should you use, and in what order? Should you remove clones to get lesser rift cubes down the machine, or should you further a mission and risk a vortex? Should you end your turn here or there, and on and on? So many puzzling options during a turn, and when it all works out, you feel a great sense of achievement. Number 3, the deck building aspect and the loop actions, which allow you to reactivate cards exhausted. The deck building mechanic in the game is another clever part. The cards' abilities are all different and have different dimension icons. It's an advantage to create a deck with similar dimension icons because when played and you loop during your turn, any exhausted cards of the same dimension icon you can choose to reactivate. It's wonderful when you get runs with those, when the cards align with energy cubes in place for you to loop and loop again and maybe again or again, to do a run of actions which really push you ahead or come from behind. 1 minute you think you're doomed, and then the next you see a sparkle of light getting brighter and brighter each loop, to where, wow, maybe you can win. It's hope for those moments that until the end of the game you don't give up. So there are 3 things that I love about the board game Loop. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time here at All About Fun and Games.